The moment Ethan Caldwell pushed open his daughter's bedroom door, his entire world snapped in half. His 12-year-old blind daughter was trembling on the edge of her bed, while his wife stood over her, shouting. But that wasn't the part that froze Ethan's blood. A black woman he barely knew, Naomi Ellis, the housekeeper he had barely spoken to, was standing between them, shielding Lily with her own body as if she were willing to take every blow, every insult, every ounce of hatred Melissa hurled at her. And when Melissa spat out, "Know your place," the look in Naomi's eyes, hurt, strength, and something painfully familiar, forced Ethan to confront a truth he had ignored for years. Someone else had been loving his daughter better than he had. Ethan didn't realize it yet, but that moment would explode into a series of revelations so shocking they would tear their entire family apart and rebuild it in ways no one could imagine. Ethan Caldwell had been gone only 2 weeks, but the house felt unfamiliar the moment he stepped inside. His mansion in Seattle's upscale Laurelhurst district was usually quiet at that hour, yet today something was off. Sharp, heated voices cut through the silence like broken glass. He froze halfway up the stairs when he heard a sound he dreaded, his 12-year-old daughter Lily crying softly behind her bedroom door. Then came another voice, one he didn't recognize, a woman's voice, warm, steady, protective. "Ms. Grant, please," the voice said, firm but trembling slightly. "She's scared. Lower your tone." Ethan's heart jumped. Who dared speak to his wife that way? But when he heard Melissa Grant's reply, all the air seemed to vanish from the hallway. "You don't get to tell me how to raise this child," Melissa snapped. "You're the help, a housekeeper, that's all." Ethan pushed the door open an inch. What he saw made his stomach twist. Melissa hovering over Lily, who sat curled on the bed clutching her stuffed rabbit. And standing between them, shoulders squared, palms open in a protective stance, was a black woman in a Navy cleaning uniform, Naomi Ellis, the new housekeeper. Except nothing about her looked small or submissive the way Melissa clearly expected her to be. Naomi's gaze was steady, her chest rising as if she were trying to control her breathing. She was outnumbered yet unshaken. "Lily needs compassion," Naomi said. "Not yelling." Melissa scoffed, her face tightening with something Ethan recognized all too well. Judgment. "So now you're a parenting expert?" she sneered. "Why don't you go scrub a floor and let the adults handle real responsibilities?" Naomi didn't flinch. "I am handling a responsibility," she replied quietly, "keeping this child safe." That was the moment Lily broke. "Please don't make her go," she whispered. "Please, Daddy." Her voice cracked so painfully Ethan stepped forward without thinking. "What the hell is going on here?" he demanded. Melissa spun around instantly, switching from fury to politeness in a single heartbeat. "Ethan, thank God. This employee is being disrespectful." But Naomi didn't retreat or apologize. Instead, she moved aside so Ethan could see the tears streaming down Lily's face. "Mr. Caldwell," she said evenly, "I'm sorry to step out of line, but your daughter was terrified." The word terrified stabbed Ethan deeper than he expected. "Daddy," Lily whispered, reaching for him. "She was yelling again." Ethan's jaw clenched. Melissa opened her mouth to defend herself, but he held up a hand. "Naomi," he said softly, "how long have you been working here again?" "6 months, sir." 6 months, and he barely knew her name. Lily suddenly tugged Naomi's sleeve. "Tell him," she said, voice trembling. "Tell him how you helped me." Naomi knelt beside the bed, her hand light on the girl's arm. "It's okay, sweetheart. He knows now." But Ethan didn't know. He didn't know anything. He didn't know that someone else had been reading to Lily every night. He didn't know someone else had been teaching her to feel the shapes of plants and listen to birdsong. He didn't know someone else had been showing his blind daughter how to navigate the world with confidence while he was flying across time zones chasing business deals. A wave of shame hit him so suddenly he had to look away. "Melissa," he said, voice low, "we need to talk. Downstairs. Now." Melissa's face flushed red. She shot Naomi a look, a cold, cutting glare Ethan had seen her give waiters, hotel staff, and anyone she believed beneath her. A look dripping with the kind of arrogance that made his stomach turn. Once they were gone, Ethan heard Naomi whisper to Lily, "Want to hear about the hummingbirds I saw outside this morning?" Her voice turned bright and warm. and Lily's breathing steadied. Ethan closed the door quietly, but the question echoing in his mind was louder than ever. Who is this woman? And why does she care more about my daughter than her own stepmother does? The next morning, Ethan made a decision he hadn't made in years. He canceled all meetings. He stayed home. He needed to see the truth for himself. From his office window, he watched Naomi guide Lily through the herb garden. The air smelled of rain, and Lily's laughter drifted up to him, light, free, nothing like last night's tears. "Feel this one," Naomi said, placing Lily's hand on a leaf. "What do you think it is?" "It's smooth," Lily murmured. "And it smells minty?" "That's peppermint, used for tea, headaches, and bravery." Naomi winked. "Especially bravery." Ethan quietly exhaled. No one, not even Melissa, had ever taken this kind of time with Lily. At lunch, he asked casually, "Naomi, how do you know so much about helping visually impaired kids?" Her smile softened. "My younger sister, Camille, was born blind. Growing up, I learned that independence isn't something you give a child. It's something you show them they already have." "And where is she now?" Lily asked. "She teaches music back in Savannah," Naomi said proudly. "She always says blindness changed how she sees the world, not how far she can go in it." The conversation was interrupted when Melissa walked in, expensive shopping bags in hand. The moment she saw Naomi sitting at the table with them, her expression shifted, tight, disapproving. A look that said, "You don't belong here. A black woman shouldn't be this close to our family. Know your place." Ethan felt something inside him snap, but he stayed quiet, for now, because he needed to know just how deep this prejudice ran. That night after Lily slept, Ethan found a small audio recorder on her nightstand. Curious, he pressed play. Naomi's voice filled the dark room. "Once there was a girl who saw the world differently, not with her eyes but with her heart, and her heart was stronger than any fear." Ethan's throat tightened. Melissa walked into their bedroom at that moment, complaining about that woman again, how Naomi was getting too comfortable, getting too close, and making Lily depend on her. But the truth was obvious. Naomi wasn't the problem. Naomi was the reason his daughter was smiling again. And Melissa was slowly becoming the reason Lily was afraid. That realization would alter the course of their entire lives. Have you ever seen someone judge unfairly just because of their race? Yes or no? Ethan woke before sunrise that week, and for the first time in years, he stayed home. Not as a CEO, not as the man who had checked out of his own life, but as a father desperate to repair the fractures he had ignored. Something had shifted inside him since witnessing Melissa's explosion and Naomi's courage. Now every corner of the house felt like a courtroom, and every moment with his daughter was evidence of how badly he had failed her. But the real storm had only begun. By mid-morning, Ethan found Naomi in the kitchen preparing breakfast for Lily. The room was filled with the warm smell of cinnamon and vanilla. Naomi worked quietly, but the tension in her shoulders gave away the truth. She was bracing for something, bracing for someone. "You're up early," she said, offering him a polite smile. "I wanted to help," he replied. She blinked, a mixture of surprise and caution crossing her face. "You don't need to do that, Mr. Caldwell." "Maybe I do," he said softly. Before she could respond, footsteps thundered down the hallway. Melissa swept into the kitchen, her hair perfectly styled, her expression not so much angry as vindictive. Her gaze landed on Naomi. "And why are you in here?" Melissa demanded. "Breakfast should have been done ages ago. What exactly am I paying you for?" Naomi inhaled slowly, keeping her voice calm. "I was preparing Lily's food. She likes—" "I didn't ask what she likes," Melissa cut in, stepping closer. "I asked why you're still standing here running your mouth." Ethan stiffened. This wasn't irritation. It was something uglier, an attempt to humiliate Naomi into silence. Something that had nothing to do with chores. Something that had everything to do with Naomi's skin. Before Ethan could intervene, Lily walked in, guided by her hands along the wall. "Good morning," she said, smiling. Naomi instantly softened. "Hey, sweetheart." But Melissa stepped in front of Lily so abruptly that the child jerked backward. "Stop clinging to her," Melissa snapped. "You're becoming dependent." Lily froze, her small fingers curling inward. I wasn't. Enough, Melissa barked. From now on, you ask me for help, not her. Why? Lily whispered. Melissa hesitated for half a second, just long enough for the truth to slip through her mask. Because she's the housekeeper, she said sharply, and she needs to learn her place. Ethan felt the room spin. Naomi's eyes dropped. Lily's face crumpled. That was the moment Ethan realized Melissa didn't see Naomi as a person. She saw her as a threat not because Naomi had done anything wrong, but because Naomi, a black woman, had done something Melissa never could. She had earned Lily's trust. Melissa, Ethan said, voice dangerously steady. We need to talk, privately. No, Naomi said, lifting her chin. This time I should speak. Ethan and Melissa both stared at her. Naomi exhaled shakily, then looked directly at Melissa. I get that you don't like me, she said. People have looked at me like that my whole life, like I'm less. Like being black means I shouldn't stand too close, speak too loudly, or care too much. Melissa's jaw tightened. But Lily isn't just another job to me, Naomi continued. She's a child who needs patience, kindness, and you don't get to attack her just because you don't like that she feels safe with me. Melissa's face went crimson. How dare you accuse me of… I'm not accusing, Naomi said softly. I'm observing. Ethan felt a shock of awe move through him. Naomi wasn't raising her voice, but she didn't waver. She spoke with the quiet strength of someone who had been forced her entire life to prove she belonged in rooms built to shut her out. Still, Ethan could see the danger. Melissa wouldn't back down. She would retaliate, and she did. You're fired, Melissa hissed. Pack your things, you're done here. Lily gasped so loudly it broke Ethan's heart. No, Daddy, please. She's not going anywhere, Ethan said firmly. Melissa whirled around. Excuse me. I said, Ethan repeated. Naomi stays. The silence that followed was electric. Melissa turned pale, then red, then something almost venomous. You're choosing her over me. I'm choosing my daughter, Ethan replied. Melissa let out a bitter laugh. Don't pretend this is about Lily. You're letting this woman manipulate you. People like her always do that. They play the victim. Ethan's voice boomed through the room. Enough. Even Naomi flinched. I won't tolerate racism in my home, he said. Melissa's eyes widened, not with guilt, but fury. So that's what she told you? That I'm a racist? She jabbed a finger toward Naomi. This woman has been undermining me from day one. Naomi said nothing. She simply stood tall, letting Melissa's words expose everything about her character. Ethan's next words left no room for doubt. This ends now, he said. Go to your mother's house for a few days. Cool off. Melissa stared at him in disbelief. Then she grabbed her purse, shoved past Naomi, and stormed out the door with a slam that shook the entire house. The silence that followed was thick with shock. Naomi finally spoke. Mr. Caldwell, I didn't mean to cause… You didn't cause anything, Ethan said. You protected my daughter. You did what I should have done. A tear slipped down Naomi's cheek, one she quickly wiped away. Lily reached out, feeling the air until she found Naomi's hand. Please don't leave, she whispered. Naomi knelt, her voice trembling. I'm not going anywhere, sweetheart. Ethan watched them, a strange ache filling his chest. Gratitude, shame, and something he couldn't yet name. But danger was still lingering, because Melissa wasn't finished, and the storm she would unleash next would change everything. The house felt strangely quiet after Melissa left. Quiet in a way that allowed everyone to breathe again. Ethan spent the next few days doing something he hadn't done in years. Being present, not halfway, not distracted, not with one foot still stuck in corporate boardrooms. Fully present. Every morning he found Lily and Naomi in the backyard garden, their hands buried in warm soil, their laughter bright against the soft Seattle clouds. And every morning, Ethan felt the same overwhelming thought. How could he ever repay the woman who had given his daughter her life back? But the peace didn't last long. On the fourth morning, while Naomi helped Lily water the rosemary bushes, a knock came at the door. Sharp, impatient, familiar. Melissa, not angry this time, not triumphant, just defeated. Ethan met her at the front entrance. She looked exhausted, like someone who'd spent nights wrestling with demons she never wanted to name. "We need to talk," she murmured. He led her to the porch. She sat down slowly, clasping her hands together as if holding something fragile. "I've been unfair," she began, voice low. "I've been cruel, and maybe I have been blind in a different way." Ethan said nothing. "I saw Naomi as a threat because Lily chose her," Melissa whispered. "Because she made motherhood look effortless. Because she did what I couldn't do. And because," she swallowed hard, "because I let myself believe black women only belonged in certain roles. I'm not proud of that, but it's the truth." The honesty caught Ethan off guard. "And I blamed her," Melissa continued, "for making me feel small, invisible, replaceable." "You're not replaceable," Ethan told her gently. "No," she said, shaking her head. "I am. And that's the point. Being a parent, even a step-parent, should have never been about control. It should have been about love." For the first time since she entered their lives, Melissa didn't sound defensive or angry. She sounded human, humbled, and strangely hopeful. "So," Ethan asked carefully, "what do you want now?" Melissa took a deep breath. "To heal, to grow, and to stop hurting people because I'm drowning in my own insecurities." Her eyes lifted. "Including Naomi." Ethan hesitated. "You want to talk to her?" "Yes," she whispered, "if she'll let me." Naomi and Lily were just finishing their garden routine when Melissa approached. Ethan stayed behind, ready to step in if needed. But Naomi, always calm, always steady, simply waited. "I don't expect forgiveness," Melissa began, voice cracking. "I just want to apologize for how I treated you, for dismissing your worth, for letting my fear turn into cruelty. I was wrong. About everything." A long silence settled between them. Finally, Naomi spoke. "You hurt me," she admitted softly, "not just with your words, but with what they meant." Melissa's eyes filled with tears. "I know. But," Naomi continued, "you're here. That means something. And forgiveness isn't about pretending nothing happened. It's about choosing what comes next." "And what comes next?" Melissa asked. Naomi smiled, not wide, not immediate, but full of warmth. "We try again." Melissa let out a breath that sounded like relief and grief tangled together. It was the beginning of a new chapter. Weeks turned into months. Slowly, beautifully, the Caldwell home transformed. Melissa began spending time with Lily, not out of obligation, but genuine curiosity. They cooked together, learned together, even painted silly wooden birdhouses together. Lily, ever gentle, forgave with a grace that made Ethan ache. Meanwhile, Naomi became something Ethan had never expected, the quiet heartbeat of their home. She helped Lily practice mobility exercises, recorded bedtime stories, taught her about scents and textures and the language of growing things. She brought life to corners of the house Ethan didn't know were empty. But the biggest turning point came one evening when Lily ran into the living room holding an envelope. "Daddy, Naomi, I got chosen for the citywide science expo." Ethan lifted her into his arms, laughing. "That's amazing, sweetheart." "What's your project going to be about?" Naomi asked. "About using senses other than sight to identify plants," Lily said proudly. "And I want both of you to help me." Naomi's hand flew to her chest. "Both of us?" "Yes," Lily nodded. "Dad taught me courage. You taught me confidence. I need both." It was the first time Ethan saw Naomi speechless, and the first time he realized that this woman wasn't just healing his daughter, she was healing him. The night of the expo arrived cool and bright. The auditorium buzzed with students and families. When Lily took the stage, white cane tapping lightly, the entire room went silent. "My name is Lily Caldwell," she announced, "and today I want to show you that sight isn't the only way to see." Her voice was steady, clear, brave. Ethan felt tears sting his eyes. She ended her presentation with a sentence that silenced the room. "Being different isn't a limitation. It's a superpower. If someone believes in you." The judges awarded her first place. When her name echoed through the auditorium, Naomi burst into tears. Melissa clapped the loudest. Ethan held Lily close, whispering, "I'm proud of you, more than anything." Later that night, as the family sat together on the porch, watching the soft glow of Seattle's skyline, Ethan spoke softly to Naomi. "You changed our lives," he said, "not by force, not by demanding it, but by loving us before we knew how to love ourselves." Naomi blinked, touched. "You gave me a home," she whispered, "and you let me be something more than what the world expected of me." Ethan looked at both women, Naomi and Melissa, and saw something he never thought possible: a healed family, a blended family, a chosen family. Lily leaned her head on Naomi's shoulder. "We're perfect," she said. "Not perfect," Naomi corrected gently. "Just real." Ethan smiled. "And real is better." As the wind rustled through the rosemary bushes Naomi helped Lily plant months earlier, Ethan finally understood. Family wasn't blood. Family wasn't marriage. Family was healing. Family was forgiveness. Family was the people who stayed. And Naomi Ellis, a black woman once dismissed as the help, had become the bridge that led them all back to each other.